take off a departure stall, we slow the plane down, but then we put power in, and I don't use more than about 2,000 RPM. You could do them full power, but you'd be so steep up in the air. So get her slowed down a little bit, bring it back to about 1,500 RPM, and just slow down. And once you get, down to about 70, then come in with the power, and, climb it, to, let's say 2,000 RPM, and make it a stall.
At 60?
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go to 2,000. And now you got to get the nose up in the air pretty high. Just watch the rudder. You got to keep the right rudder in there. Okay. There it is. Recover. There you go. Okay, full power. Now, you might notice that time when we dropped, the wing dropped.
Yeah.
If you try to lift that wing with the aileron, you'll make it worse.
Oh, okay.
Because you put more drag on that wing.
Gotcha.
You got to use the rudder.
Rudder only, okay.
Right. Okay, level off here.
So, which rudder do I use? The right rudder then, if I'm going?
If you're going to the right, you use left rudder. We want to
Okay.
go back to the left.
Gotcha.
Any questions about slow flight or stall?
I think those are, I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm glad you brought up the point about using the rudder instead of the aileron, because I didn't even think about it.
So think about it this way: when the wing stop drops, if that wing is dropping, it doesn't have any lift,
Right.
and therefore you probably don't have much control on that. And if you start putting aileron in there, that's going to increase the drag and make the wing go even more the wrong way.
Yeah, yeah.
So you use the rudder.
Morgantown, Romeo Golf, left down 128.
Some of the examiners don't like to do stalls.
Oh, yeah.
Because, well, they're worried about
Going in a spin.
or doing something to get in trouble. I don't recall. I'm pretty sure John does require you, but he may only ask you to do a approach to landing stall. He has some discretion in that. All right. One of the maneuvers he may ask you to do is you got the airplane's on fire. We need to get it on the ground quickly.
Okay.
So carb heat in, bring the power back to idle. All right, and let's unload the wing. So dip it this way, and right rudder, and see if you can get her to come down quickly. All right. Want to be able to come down at a rapid rate of descent. So push the wheel forward just a little bit more. Look at that, we're coming a little more slip. We're doing 1,500 feet a minute descent. You see that?
Yeah, wow.
You're getting down on the ground pretty quickly. He's going to want to see one of these as well. And
Okay.
he'll say, what happens if the airplane's on fire? And you say, well, I turned the fuel off, and I'd start thinking about getting on the ground as fast as I could, and I'd go do an aggressive descent. So show me one of those. Okay?
Okay.
Could be a scenario like that. All right, that's good. So we just bring the power back to idle.
Oh, okay. You want to keep on idle?
No. To do that maneuver, carb heat, power back to idle, then slip it and get the nose down. So you're creating a lot of drag and you're coming down as fast as you possibly can.
I got you.
You're good at slips, so no problem with those at all.
False traffic, Cessna 753 is left downwind, runway 22 false.
Think about it, if I want to come down fast, what do I want to do? I don't want power in. I want to get the nose down, and I want to get as much drag in the airplane as I can. So unload the wing. In other words, bank into a bank, and then little opposite rudder like a slip, and just come down as fast as you possibly can.
Right. Yep.
And you can bring it down right up to the yellow arc. Right. You don't have to come down at 60. You can come down at 100 if you're trying to get down in a hurry. That's fair game.
Isn't
Just
that
keep it in the green?
I'm trying to think, that's one of the things you should do to try and put out the fire, right?
Yes,
To get up
yes.
to 100.
If it catches on fire, first thing I would do is turn off the fuel. Unless I'm sure it's an electrical fire, right? If it smells like electrical fire, then I probably turn the electrical system off. But if I think it's a fuel-related fire, I'm probably going to turn the fuel off. And then I push the nose forward and try to get the flames out as best I could. In the meantime, I'd start thinking about some place to get it on the ground.
Yep.
In a hurry. The other thing is if you're doing a simulated engine out, he's going to want you to say, okay, I've got the field main, I'm going to put the flaps out, then I would turn the fuel off and the electrical off, and I'd pop the doors before it touched down.
Okay, fuel off, electric off, pop the doors.
Yeah. But you can't turn the electric off until you got the flaps out.
Oh yeah, good call.
Right, so, get yourself set up where you're sure you got the field made, then fuel off, electrical off, pop the doors.
Okay. Like we got a little bit of a right crosswind here. I guess I'll go in a little faster than normal.
Yeah, there's more wind aloft than it is
Yeah,
on the
for sure.
ground.
Doesn't want to stop flying.
So that's what happens when you carry a little extra speed. Two floats on you. Not bad. Let's climb up to, let's say, 2,500 or something. We'll do another one of those simulated emergency descents.
Okay.
All right, let's let the temperature stabilize just a little bit. I want to see you get it up to about 100.
Wow.
Okay, that's enough now. Not too steep yet. Yeah, be careful. It takes a little while. Look at that, 2,000
Yeah.
feet a minute. See that?
Holy cow.
Okay. Just remember, once you start getting it down there and the airspeed builds, you got to watch that it'll go too far.
Right,
So
yeah.
when it gets to about 90, 95, then you start slowing down. But we had a 2,000 foot a minute descent there.
That was kind of fun.
We'll do a soft field landing. Just try to shoot for the grass before the runway, so we got a little bit of extra runway to work with. And again, we come in and we flare, we give it just a touch of power, and try to touch down just real soft with the nose up in the air. Keep it out of the mud.
Okay.
Okay, landing checks.
Fuel's on. Mixture full. Fuel's written or heat on.
Wheels are down and fixed. Hey, you know, this one you can drag it in. So give yourself a little distance. It's okay to come in with some power. You don't have to clear an obstacle. That's not the objective. The objective is to touch down, you know, slowly and with the nose up. So shoot for your initial flare over the grass, so to give you a little extra room to work with. Generally, when I set up for soft field, I'm doing it like a short field speed, so 54 full flaps. Just don't get any slower than 54.
Gotcha.
A little bit of power, touch of power, just a touch. Let her come down. Let her come down. Nice, nice. See how you got the nose up in the air? That was nice. See, that little touch of power just gives you just enough of a cushion. Okay, good job.
If there's a real soft field, I wouldn't be hitting the brakes.
Right. Yeah, you'd be pulling the power
And trying to keep up with it.
and having the nose up in the air as hard as you could and hold it up. Now let's do another short field takeoff.
Okay.
This time, don't even begin to think about rotating until you get to at least 50, all right?
Okay.
And then, if you do it correctly, as you get to 50 and you start to rotate, by the time the nose comes up, you're already 54. And you'll feel the airplane kind of jump off the ground if you do it right.
Okay.
And climb at 54 till you get to 200 feet above the ground, and then accelerate to 65. Just make sure you make that transition. You know, sometimes people will do that and then they'll dump the nose and they go right back down into the trees. Alright, pre-takeoff checklist. Okay, we'll have it in our hand. Wheels on, flaps 10, mixture rich, carb heat cold, trim for takeoff, landing light on. Don't rotate till you get to at least 50. Alright, there's 50, rotate, climb to 54. Go, jump off the runway. That got up a lot quicker that time.
Yeah, it did.
See that when you come up early, it's kind of like a soft field. What you're doing is creating a lot of induced drag real early. All right, we're 200 feet. Just gradually accelerate without sinking. Better. feel about crosswind landings? You okay with them?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really had much time to practice them, man.
Right.
I understand the principle behind them.
So if the wind's from the right, you would have the right wing down and you'd have left rudder in.
Right.
And you'd be slipping it down to the runway.
Right.
And then touching down on the right wheel first.
I tend to, and I don't know if this is right or not, I thought you told me before that it was okay, but I tend to crab in until just, you know, as I'm getting close to the flare, and then I'll straighten it out.
That's my preferred way of doing it. There's two schools of thought. One school of thought says you crab in till you get down close to the runway, then you punch the rudder and dip the wing. Other people believe you should set up that slip and fly the slip all the way down so the transition in the flare isn't as difficult.
Right.
You know, the reason I think it's a trade-off is, in either case, as you get close to the ground, you're going to have to change your settings anyway because the wind's not blowing as hard.
Right, yep. Yeah, I've tried it both ways, and like I said, I've probably only done like 2 really good crosswind days.
Right.
And I tend to do better with the crab than trying to slip it all the way in. We're just doing a regular landing this time, or?
Let's do a short field landing.
All right. So I'm gonna try and keep it up a little bit and then drop it at 54 knots right towards the end there.
And you're welcome to use power on this one. So, you know, if you come in too close to the runway and you're already back to idle, you're gonna land long.
Yeah.
So you could shoot for a little short, but you just can't come in low and slow dragging it. You got to come in at a little bit more of a steeper angle.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, I think I'd start coming back on the power now. Probably too high. Get her slowed to 54. There we got all the flaps out.
Yep.
Now just manage it with power. If you need a little power to get there, that's fine. Coming out like a rocket.
I think we just lost our wind for a second.
Yeah, a little shear there. Don't flare too early now. Let her come down and flare late. Now all the way back on the power. Be careful that you don't get that nose up too high there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we caught a little shear there. You actually heard the stall warner a little bit.
Yep. Kind of felt it in my
Just gotta ride through it, but it's a little rough today. If you get a day when it's real smooth, you can manage it a little better.
Yeah.
But you know, you gotta come down like you were at 54, and you know, normally you come in at 60, you can do that initial flare and then let her float. When you do 54, from the time to the flare to touchdown is a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So you can't do that initial flare because you don't have enough energy to do that. Otherwise you'll come out like a rock. So just plan on a little different flare on when you're doing 54, you flare to a touchdown.
Okay.
It's when you get a day where it's real calm and you can literally fly it hands free at 54, trimmed up right to the runway. That's neat.
Yeah. Today's not one of those days.
When I come in here with my Cub, sometimes if I got a little bit of headwind, I can land the Cub, make this turn off here.
Wow, that's pretty cool. There's no flaps on the cover.
No, you just bring it in really slow. I mean, the thing stalls at like 35 or something.
Oh wow, okay.
So you can come in at like 45, you know. And that's not knots.
Right, that's miles per hour too, right? Fuel on, flaps, I gotta say it out loud.
Right.
Mixture full rich, carpet off. Elevator trim is set for false traffic Cessna 48753, departing runway 22, false. Good power.
Looks good.
Airspeed's coming alive. Good oil pressure.
Nice job. Good takeoff.
Here are the obstacles with the flaps.
I like to say clear the obstacles, positive rate. So coming up. If you didn't have a positive rate, you dump the flaps, you could end up sinking back into the trees. Because for that brief time, till the plane accelerates after the flaps, you lose a little bit of lift. That's why we don't dump the flaps right away, so we're sure we got a positive rate, we're clear of everything.
Gotcha, okay. Boston traffic, Cessna 753 is final, runway 22, Boston.
Okay. 30 Papa.
Nice job.